Hello and welcome to our episode of FinTech Focus TV with me and Toby Babb. We are here today in Canary Wharf at the TradingTech Summit, and it is my great pleasure to introduce you to Joe from 3forge. Joe, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Listen, wonderful to have you in here. Thanks so much for joining us on the show. It's been a fantastic day so far at the TradingTech Summit. Tell us a little bit about what you're here for, and actually kick us off by telling us a little bit about 3forge. I've known about you guys for a little while. Some exciting things that are happening for you in the business. Give us a bit of a précis about what 3forge do.
Yeah, sure. So we're a full stack development platform. So whenever clients want to build out large, complex front ends, whenever they have problems where they want something to scale to a very large amount of data or large numbers of users, or they've got very complex workflows or complex underlying data systems, and they want to get visualizations into it, that's where we come in. So we were founded in 2011. Traditionally, we were very involved in the banking space, so all of the major US banks. But then particularly in the past 5 years or so, we've seen a lot of growth in the hedge fund space. And at the moment, other kinds of financial firms, other kinds of use cases. So we're really a platform for developing out these kind of large and complex front ends across all different kinds of firms, all different kinds of use cases.
Fantastic. And that's a common sort of trend recently, isn't it? With the buy side adapting more, and hedge funds adapting more technology within it, and it's sort of, that evolving over the last sort of 10, 15 years into that. I think it's really interesting. And you're a lead engineer within the business, right? And growing up through it, how long have you been there?
2 years the firm now.
Fantastic.
And then before that, about 3-4 years at a few other tech startups. So very much from the tech world rather than the finance world.
Yeah. But growing into that over the course of your time here, and you're doing it at a fascinating time, full stop, for engineering as a whole. A lot of the theme of today is probably unsurprisingly for a TradingTech Summit at the moment, and we'll be seeing it across pretty much, I think, every event through 2025 is a dominant focus on AI. Now, AI has a direct impact on the engineering world, the software world, and there's a lot of fear, I think, that's sort of attracted by that. But I've always seen it, and we've had this conversation many times on this show over recent months about that morphing and how it enhances and improves as opposed to threatens and changes and displaces. Tell me a little bit about what's happening with you and what you're seeing within that marketplace and how the role's evolving within that.
Yeah, sure. So for me, I've seen a big growth in people using AI to do a lot of their kind of boilerplate work.
Yeah.
So, before, the software engineers had the part which people get paid a lot of money for, which is, thinking about large and complex systems, thinking about complex computing architecture. And then there's the side of it, which is doing a lot of boilerplate. So writing the exact same bit of code that someone 10 years ago wrote, someone 5 years ago wrote, just kind of redoing lots of work which already exists and redoing the same kind of rote, memorized work. And what we're seeing a lot of is AI is kind of getting rid of that work. It's solving that for you. So a lot of the co-pilots like technologies, these AI assistants, helping get rid of that part of the work. So engineers are really now much more focused on the architectural side, so making these kind of like high-level decisions, as well as a lot of the human interaction. So that's something which I've really seen a growth of in the past 5 years, pre and post AI particularly, is that engineers now need to be really good at communicating with whoever it is they're building their thing for. I think gone are the days where you had a siloed IT team, where you had all these big financial institutions have an IT team who just talk to themselves, and there's a big wall, a big barrier, and you have the business team, and both sides are incredibly angry at each other.
Yeah.
I think that's going to dissipate and go away now that the work for engineers is a lot less about doing the day-to-day boilerplate work and a lot more of this high-level architectural stuff where you need to really understand what it is the person you're talking to needs.
Yeah. That's a really important part, isn't it? Because I think it's genuinely that evolution of the role and of the individual. I've been fortunate to spend 25 years of finding people in the day job within the tech space, and I look back to 2000 when I first started and saw what a technologist was and how a technologist was seen. Even a CTO didn't really have a seat at the on the board level. It was business and technology, and business and technology was a cost base. So we've obviously come a long way since then. But that whole idea of a developer being someone who sits there with their headphones on and doesn't integrate at all has seen an evolution. We've seen BAs get closer to engineers. We've seen salespeople get closer to product people, etc., etc. It's a real morphing of skill set. And I think as business people have become more tech savvy, as tech people have become more business savvy, it creates a really interesting role, I think, moving further forward as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, there's been a big growth in tools to kind of help and assist engineers. Obviously, 3forge is part of that, but I think a lot of the different vendors here today are offering different ways to kind of make it as easy as possible for engineers to build out quickly, and not get stuck in the kind of low-level implementation questions. So, yeah, we've definitely seen this kind of like big shift in the role, where a lot more about communicating with people, about talking, about building up relationships between different parts of businesses.
And as your company grows and 3forge continues to I know you're looking to add people to your team and such like, and I guess that's what you're looking for within that. Obviously, a highly skilled technical people, but people who are interested in the technology, interested in how the evolution of that tech, but also I guess having the charisma enough to be able to go out there and interact and share that within them. And this is what I found interesting earlier on. I came over to your stand to introduce myself earlier on, and there's two technical people on the. This has been usually the preserve of the salespeople that sort of come in here, but I love the fact that you guys are in there, and that's going to be something there which you've grown in confidence with, to be able to come into that sort of stuff, to be on the show today. I love seeing that sort of stuff. Is that something which has been promoted within the business?
Yeah, definitely. So we try to keep our engineering team quite flat and quite broad. So we have kind of one set of roles, and then it's up to the individual as to where they specialize.
Yeah.
So if you're somebody like me who loves to schmooze, who loves a bit of a chat, you can focus on the kind of pre-sales work and doing lots of demos and talking to people. Whereas if you're more focused on the engineering side, you can do more direct contribution to the code base. So when we're hiring people, we're definitely looking for these like social skills. They're very valuable, and especially when I get a call from a hedge fund and they say, hey, we're looking to build out this new system, what should the architecture be? It's very important that I can like maintain that conversation and build up a good working relationship.
Yeah, and understand what they're looking for, and ask. When I say understand, I'm not talking from a technical perspective, but actually have the wherewithal to go out there and to ask the right questions, to take that requirement and understand what they're actually looking for, and then tailor it.
Oh yeah, the first spec you receive is always incorrect.
Yeah.
Like there's never a time where somebody in business goes, oh yeah, I want this, and it stays the same by the end of the project. It's always like someone has some vision and it's murky, it's fuzzy. They haven't yet thought through how it's actually going to get built out and what it's going to look like when it's finished. Yeah. So so much of engineering is about this kind of like dialogue and this iteration. And if you don't have the communication skills, then you can't do that iteration as fast or as well as otherwise.
The major theme throughout today, as we've already been talking about, is this AI piece and how people are adapting it. On the last episode we've just recorded, someone was saying that on a Slido poll, 7% of them thought it was hype and not anything that's going to be relevant. So obviously, we know it's here to stay, we know it's there, but talk to me about the opportunities that firms have with AI within the space. What does that look like to you?
Yeah, sure. I think
there's so many, isn't there? That's fair to say.
I think there's a big focus on the moment around the kind of core actual work with the AI. So researchers developing new LLMs or adapting LLMs or finding new uses for their AI. And then there's the classic cliche of, in a gold rush, sell shovels. There's lots of people trying to be, okay, we're going to provide direct services to these people who are using LLMs. I think there's a huge missed market or underappreciated market for the entire pipeline behind it. So in the gold rush analogy, sure, you've got the people who are doing the gold digging and you've got the people who are selling the shovels, but then there's a whole railroad infrastructure necessary for the transportation of gold during the 1800s gold rushes. There was the whole smelting industry, there's the whole jeweler industry. And similarly with AI, there is lots of interesting work in AI going on and lots of companies are putting a lot of money there, but I think they're often under-recognizing the value of the data engineering that's required behind the scenes, the infrastructure that's required, the data monitoring. So you'll often see companies where they've put in big investment for all of their new AI researchers, but all of their data is garbage. It's stuff which is unusable, or it's stuff which they don't really know what they're dealing with. So I think that's where we're going to see a lot of growth, is once firms start to mature with their work they're doing with AI, they're going to realize, hey, we've been putting our money in this one place in the end goal, but we haven't been properly respecting everything required to reach that end goal.
I think you're absolutely right, and that the resounding theme is about data being the critical part of everything within this. So let's talk a little bit about you and where the company fits into this whole piece. So you've spoken about where 3forge are, and as I said, I've been hearing stellar reports about what you guys have been doing. Tell us about what 2025 looks like. So what's exciting? What are you guys focusing in on? Where's the growth coming from? Tantalize us with what's happening.
Yeah, sure. So on the kind of business side, we're really in this kind of exponential growth mode. So we traditionally were
what's prompted that?
It's a few different things. The big thing I think for us is product maturity. Yeah. So we were founded in 2011. We spent the first kind of 8 years or so in this kind of sleeper phase where we were just really working on the product. Then for the past 5 years or so, we've gone into much more of the product reached a nice level of maturity, and we're still doing active development on it, but it's now in a state where we can solve these large complex problems, which just require like a heavy amount of engineering to deal with. So we have seen this rapid growth, and the plan for this year is to continue that. So we've seen a lot of new hedge funds using us, a lot of the startup hedge funds in particular. We're seeing increased growth in exchanges with the smaller banks rather than just our traditional major US banks. And to facilitate this, we've got a few different events we're throwing. So we have an expo on March 26th in the Gherkin here in London, where we're getting together a lot of our clients to all talk with each other and understand how they're using 3forge across all these different use cases. So yeah, the big focus for us is this growth and development of our client base, and throwing these events, trying to bring our different clients together. And then on the technical side, it's just building out the product further, trying to make it more fully featured, that when somebody comes along, they say, hey, we want to be able to build PDFs, we can say yes, because we did that 2 years ago. And we're constantly receiving these new requests where someone goes, hey, can we do this? And we'll go, yes, we'll build that for you in a week, or, hey, we built that before.
Joe, sounds fantastic. Thanks so much for coming on the show and sharing it. Hope you have a great day for the rest of today. It seems like there's a great bunch in here throughout the course of it, so I wish you the very best of luck. And you're up for the awards later on today as well?
Yes, yeah, we'll be around for that.
Be rooting for you. Good luck for us. And thank you all for joining us. See you on the next episode of FinTech Focus TV. Thanks a lot.